Are you still importing common module just to use the simple if statement? You're doing it in the hard way. Angular 17 Plus introduced a native control flow that's cleaner, faster, and built directly into the compiler. So today we are deleting our structural directive and moving to the future. Let's look at @if and @for and the game-changing @empty blocks. Come, let's get started. Here is our demo app, and we are referring to the second video, the control flow. So let's take a look at this. Let's simulate this. So data is going to be fetched from the API, and then this is how if a data is there, right? So there's an if condition, and then if it is an empty, you see this block. It's an empty block. This is new, okay? And you also have a reference here what this if block will look like. So the if block will look, instead of like star ngIf, is going to be @if, a condition, like how we use the regular if else, exactly like that. And for the for block, it is going to look like, instead of this, you're going to use like this, the for. Here the track is important. Here there's a primary key kind of thing, like unique value, which is the ID. So we are tracking by ID. I'll explain you why we have to do this. Tracking is important in the new for loop. Okay. All right. So this is what the app is. Now let's go back to the code. Here there's a control flow component, and you have everything here. The primary focus of this video is all about the HTML of if and for and switch. So we will just quickly see what the component is. So the component has some, couple of variables. It's all of signals. This is a signal. This is a signal of course of array. It's just a variable. It's going to make the system faster. So here there's nothing much important of this video. All what you have to focus here is if. So all what we were discussing is, instead of the old way of using if, which is star ngIf equal to, we say like this. Instead of this, we will use the if block, a condition, and in the whole block it's readable as well, right? So anything, if this condition is true, all of these things are going to execute, and if the condition is false, the else statement will execute, which is all the way through here. And what is new? This is if else, right? There are two more concepts called for and the switch. So we're going to see this. So we are now iterating through the courses. So generally what we do, we generally do like this, right? So we will do ngFor. So we generally used to do like this, right? We iterate through like this, right? Instead of that, what we are going to do is @for course of course, like it is going to take every single item and keep it here when it navigates. The important part is track. We are tracking by the course ID. What is course ID? Basically, ID is one of the property of the course which is going to be unique, right? So that's why we track by this, where I is the index. When it navigates through it, it just knows the index. So the reason why we need this. So with the old ngFor, would often re-render the entire list if the data is changed. If something is changed here, it refreshes the entire list, okay, which is a massive performance killer. But if you introduce like this a track with the for, then the Angular identifies which item in which is changed. So it only updates what is necessary. If this item list is changed with one item, it knows which one is changed, only that one will be re-rendered, not the whole HTML. So why do we need this track? That's $1 million question. In the old days of Angular, right, the ngFor would often re-render the entire list if the data is changed. So which was a massive performance killer for the larger data set. If the data set is like having like 50,000 records, imagine this. It's going to destroy everything and recreate the 50,000 rows. But the track property in the new for block is how Angular identifies which item in which. So it only updates what is necessary. Okay, so what happens with this one? So when this signal updated, like you fetching a new API or something, the Angular compares its identity of the items based on how it was tracking. So if you don't have this track, it is going to recreate from scratch. Everything is going to recreate it. But with this one, with this kind of concept, what Angular will do is Angular will say, hey, I see an item with ID 1 is still there, but its position changed. I'll just move the existing DOM element instead of deleting and recreating it. This is how it will say, right? It doesn't going to save to us, but it's going to tell to itself and then do what it is required to do. And this index is nothing but it's just a local variable to help you show the row number. So you should avoid using track. Instead of track I, you should use like this. So you know the index of the row and it starts from 1, 2, 3, 4. Like it starts from 1. Alright, so this is what the for and track, it's important. And there is something called switch, right? So for switch, we are saying based on the status. If the status is published, show like this. If the status is draft, show like this, and the case if it is archived. So it compares the status with these text. And if none matches, it goes to default. If you look at this, live, draft, archived. From where this is coming, the status is live, draft, archived. So let's say I put another item, say something. So when I put this item, what happens? A different color is coming, right? Because it just doesn't match with any of the switch. So it goes to default. So, alright. So this is how the switch will work. It's good, no? And then one important thing, beauty of this empty. So @empty means when you use switch. So @empty is nothing but we generally see, okay, if this course item is 0, show something, right? Instead of that, this empty belongs to the if. For if there is no item in this course, this block will show. You see this block in action, what it is showing? No course is found. This is an empty one. So how it will know? If this becomes empty, which is what we are doing. If you say empty list, this block shows. Alright, so if you love how clean this new syntax looks compared to the old structure directives, give this video a thumbs up. Check out the GitHub repository in the description to see the code and subscribe as we move into signal-based communication in the next video. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more tech tutorials. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to get notified when we post new videos. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Happy coding!